somebody did take action against a former Russian spy and his daughter. They were mysteriously poisoned. The Kremlin denies any involvement.
The conclusion that the Russian state was probably involved in the murder of Mr. Litvinenko is deeply disturbing.
El gobierno del Reino Unido concluyó que es altamente probable que Rusia fuera responsable por esta acción insensata y despreciable, y hay solo dos explicaciones plausibles. O ha sido un acto directo del Estado ruso contra nuestro país, o posiblemente las autoridades rusas habrían perdido el control en cuanto al agente nervioso de uso militar y dejaron que cayera en manos ajenas.
Да мне все равно. I don't care. I couldn't care less.
Russia behind the poisoning of Sergei Skripal.
We're dealing with agriculture here, as you see, to create conditions for people's lives. And you talk to me about some tragedies. First, get to the bottom of it there, and then we'll discuss this.
He's the world leader accused of personally approving murder on the streets of London. But is the president implicated in an assassination also responsible for theft on an extraordinary scale?
Yes. From my confidential sources.
What figure did you come up with for Vladimir Putin's wealth?
$40 billion in assets, not in cash, of course. I'm still sure Putin is the richest man in Europe, one of the richest men in the world.
But a secret CIA report agreed with Belkovsky's figure. In their view, Putin was worth around $40 billion.
Bandit capital of Russia, gangster capital of Russia at that moment. And the mayor's office should communicate to those groupings some way. But of course, Anatoly Sobchak could not be involved in such contacts. And it was Vladimir Putin who was in charge.
Is Vladimir Putin corrupt?
In our view, yes.
How long has the United States known that Vladimir Putin was, in your words, a corrupt figure?
I think for many, many years.
But we've seen documents linking Vladimir Putin to the palace at the time it was built. They show a secret money trail, and it's claimed Putin was at the heart of it. These are documents from one of the offshore companies that diverted millions of dollars to the palace. And according to Kolesnikov, the owner of this company was Putin himself. And there's more evidence. Kolesnikov and Shamalov were recorded apparently discussing $440 million of investments belonging to Putin. They refer to Putin using a nickname, Mikhail Ivanovich.
Деньги Михаила Ивановича 439 968. Вот это деньги Михаила Ивановича.
I know from my business partner that Putin asked for a share in the business. Initially, they were asking for 15%. He called them greedy bastards. He managed to talk them down to 4%. Obviously, this wasn't registered in any official papers.
And some people, including myself, believe that he's the richest man in the world or one of the richest men in the world.
Bill Browder was once the largest foreign investor in Russia. Now he's one of Vladimir Putin's toughest critics.
Russian scholar Karen Dawicha has come to the same basic conclusion.
I mean, a whole range of economic crimes.
What do you think about Vladimir Putin?
He is a difficult person. I don't know. I don't like him, actually.
Do you think he's a president or a dictator?
Dictator.
Dictator, for sure. You say that pretty definitively.
Yeah, because I don't like him, and he's so evil.
Lithuania got its independence 25 years ago, Zelensky fears losing that freedom, which he says would happen if Russia invaded his homeland.
Everyone knows Putin's Russia is not anything approaching an actual democracy.
A few months later, the elections for Russia's parliament were a farce.
We do have serious concerns about the conduct of the elections.
And that means that he won the US election. The man who is simultaneously president of Russia and in charge of the United States.
Over the course of Putin's time in power, his regime has been accused of involvement in the deaths of many of its critics.
In Syria, he has propped up the dictator, Bashar al-Assad. And Western critics say he shares the blame for the slaughter that has taken place during that country's 7-year-old civil war.
American democracy under attack.
Government for a man who many American officials believe has launched a cyber war on American democracy.
Significant incursion into American society since Pearl Harbor.
Come on.
Нет.
Come on.
This is all a smokescreen. None of this could have happened without the direct authority of the man who sits in the Kremlin.
Haas is the president of the Council on Foreign Relations.
For what? For the sake of interfering? What is the goal?
Creating chaos. That's the goal.
That's certainly the belief of the U.S. intelligence community.
I think his motivations were many. He really does try to shape the internal politics of other countries.
John Brennan is a former CIA director.
Have we ever tried to meddle in other countries' elections?
Oh, probably, but it was for the good of the system in order to avoid the communists from taking over. For example, in Europe, in 47, 48, 49, the Greeks and the Italians, we
don't do that now, though? We don't mess around in other people's elections, Jim?
Only for a very good cause.
Can you do that?
Internally, you could put a stop to this if you had the desire.
Listen to what I'm saying. I want you to hear what I'm saying. We will stand in the way of anything that violates existing Russian laws. If they do not violate Russian laws, then there would be nothing to bring them to justice for.
Would this violate Russian law?
I have to see first what they've done. Give us the materials. Nobody's given us anything.
Hacking into the Democratic National Committee, hacking into John Podesta's email, creating interference in our election by creating bots that spread false information on Twitter, on Facebook, spreading misinformation when it comes to Black Lives Matter, when it comes to the shooting we just had in Parkland, Florida, when it comes to our presidential election, spreading fake news in order to alter the course of a presidential race. That's what I'm talking about.
With all due respect, I want you to understand once and for all. After all, you do have people with legal degrees there, don't you? You probably do. I am 100% sure that there are people who are well educated, who must understand and know that we in Russia cannot prosecute anyone as long as they have not violated Russian law. Moreover, we cannot open an investigation if there is no cause for that. Our conversation today cannot be the cause for that.
Intelligence agencies in the United States, now a special prosecutor with a criminal indictment. That's not enough for you to look into it?
Absolutely not. And if you do not have a legal degree, I can tell you, for that you need a request.
I do.
Well, in that case, you must understand that what it takes is an official request to the Prosecutor General's office of the Russian Federation. And even then, we don't have an agreement with you whereby we could act. But at least send us a piece of paper.
Vladimir Putin could not order an investigation into whether this was done in a way that undermines its relations with a major partner, the United States of America.
Give us a document. Give us an official request. And we'll take a look at it.
You said that the last time, and now I'm back with an indictment.
And now, the same this year. And now, there is no document. We tell them, just recently, at a very high level, but you constantly interfere in our political life. Can you imagine? They don't even deny it.